10 questions for John Wojciechowski. It's all things Woj. What is, and I'm just going to call you Wojo. There's no way I'm going to call you John. Do this. We've known each other too long.
That's correct.
So what is your P. Mauriat story?
Well, it starts with you. When I met you, I think over 20 years ago now, when we were playing a show at Purdue together. And then when you started working for Mauriat, I think I had played a horn or two, like, at a conference or something.
Yeah. It was at IMEA, actually, at Illinois.
At IMEA?
Yeah.
Those aren't the best places to try instruments out, right? So I was like, well, this is a good horn, but, what really sold me, I went to see Adam Larson playing here in Chicago, and he was playing on a System 76, and I heard him just playing like a whole mess of saxophone, and I was like, wow, if you can do that on that horn, I should probably check these out. So I called you, I think, the following Monday, or maybe even that night, I don't remember. I sent you a text. Then when you were in town for Midwest, I think I remember you brought a slew of horns to my house, and we tested out some horns. And I'm still playing the same one.
Yeah, and it's funny. I don't think I've ever played a better tenor than the one you play, but a better Mauriat. That horn is still. I remember it. I remember bringing. I think I brought like 8, and I knew that was the one you were going to pick. Like I knew it straight out, no question.
Yourself all the luggage.
Kind of.
Right. Yeah. What's interesting is there was one evening I had a gig to get to, and I was playing, and I'm like, oh man, the horn's kind of out, and it's not like this is going to be a struggle, right? So I went downstairs and I got my 6 tenor, and I took it out and I went to play it and was like, nope, I'll just struggle. I didn't actually end up having to struggle, because then I called Jared and I said, can I stop by on the way to my gig and have you tighten my horn up? And he did.
Got it.
And so it ended up being a non-issue, but that was like, I knew like this horn is superior to, and I have a pretty good 6. It's not the greatest 6 I've ever played, but it's a good horn.
Yeah.
This one just plays circles around my 6. So
what was your first pro horn, and why did you pick it?
So my first pro horn that I owned was, and I still have that alto. It's a Mark 6 alto.
Mm-hmm.
I got it from, I was in the market to buy a new pro level horn. I was a senior in high school, and I knew I was going to go into music. And our high school had a 6. I couldn't tell you what the serial number, I don't remember like from what vintage it was, but I had been playing on that one. And so I knew I wanted a 6, because that was, I wanted a Selmer.
We all did. That was what you played.
My saxophone teacher had a student that had 2, and he was looking to sell the second one.
Gotcha.
So I bought his second one that he was selling. He was older, he wasn't like a kid. But yeah, I got that horn, and it was like in really good condition too.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like that anymore. But that's
the one. That's your other alto.
That's like my alto. Yes.
Yeah, that horn's killing.
That I got for like $2,000.
That horn's killing.
I know. That's so not as good as like, what did Phil Woods pay like $500 for his or something?
Yeah, and it's not my Barry story, but yeah, still. Right. All right, it's first silly question, and I knew this is the one I think you probably cringed at when you saw it.
I'll have a qualifying question.
Okay, good. Who is your first guilty pleasure saxophonist, and why?
So when we say that, are we talking like
Kenny G?
Oh, okay. I guess like David Sanborn.
Okay.
I think
It's not really
through a period. Yeah, that's the thing though. He can really play.
Yeah. He can really play.
In that arena, guys that I have respected as really good players, are David Sanborn, like Gerald Albright.
Yeah, sure.
even Dave Koz can play the saxophone.
Oh yeah.
You know, I know people throw shade his way, but he can play the saxophone.
I plays the hell.
And I don't really count Grover as because he can really play the language.
Yeah.
I feel that way about Gerald Albright though. Like that guy can really
Absolutely.
play the language. So
Yeah.
and I think that's what I liked about David Sanborn. I had that record he did with Joe Sample.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
And there's another one from around the same time he did that Marcus Miller produced, I think. So I had those two tapes on cassette. I listened to them a whole bunch.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't actually. I used to give my dad liked Kenny G. A lot. Who I still think he's a good tenor player.
Yeah.
He's
okay.
Crazy about his soprano playing, but I do like his tenor playing.
Yeah.
My dad liked him, and I used to give him grief all the time.
Oh
So
yeah.
I did listen. I heard a fair amount of Kenny G in the house growing up. My dad had the CD. There's a Kenny G live recording from like the late '80s, maybe. It's good.
Yeah.
The band is killing.
I bet.
The band is like just burning. But
I bet.
it's a good record. Like
No, I mean,
you know,
he
can play a melody.
Yeah.
He can play a melody.
I wondered what you would say to that question, though. Knowing you like I do, I was like, I wonder what this is going to be an interesting.
Hey man, I like people that sound good. If you have a good sound,
yeah.
I can get with it.
Well, that's everything. I mean, that's a signature,
Right.
you know. So, all right. So on to the horn. You know, I sent you a PMSA 185. I sent it to you for a specific reason. You know, you're an educator. You are, you know, besides being a phenomenal player, you're a phenomenal educator. And so I wanted you to kind of walk through that horn and, you know, what did you think about it?
Well, as soon as I picked it up, I kind of expected it to play like an intermediate level horn. But as soon as I blew into it, it was super resonant and it felt really, I mean, it was free blowing and it was resonant and it was like everything I like in a saxophone.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to be like, sort of like, wait a minute. This is unreal. I mean, it looks like an intermediate. It doesn't have all the engraving.
Right.
And some of the little, you know, the frilly things that go into a pro level horn. But it really plays like a pro level horn.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that. It really does. So, I mean...
Well, and
I could take that on gigs and play, you know? Like, why not?
that's what I think about it. Like, it's one of those, it's like a super fun horn to play without all the extra bells and whistles that, you know, give a horn the extra 2 or 3% that, you know, some of the real, you know, like happy accidents have.
Right.
But yeah, it's just as far as like a horn to take out and work on. Absolutely.
Yep.
You know, yeah.
In fact, I've got it sitting right here, and I did some demo recordings the other day on it. Since I'm teaching virtually, we're working on, in the jazz bands, we're doing a lot more work with improvisation than we normally would.
Sure.
So I'm putting together a bunch of materials. So I played a lot of the demos on that horn.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, back into the silly. So most Mauriats have a name. Like System 76, Master 97.
Right.
Did we miss out? What would you call this one?
Here's the thing. You're talking to a guy who has a hard time naming his own compositions. I have a song called Title because I couldn't come up with a name.
That is true.
So
yeah.
I'm really bad at naming stuff.
Okay. Not the answer we were hoping for.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Butch,
sorry.
but it's okay.
Sure somebody will come up with something, but I'm.
It's all right.
I don't know.
It's okay.
What? Yamaha Killer? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they'd like that.
The marketing people might not like that.
No. Our marketing people would love that. I doubt their marketing people would like that.
Probably.
See a cease and desist in our future with that one. So,
the Yamaha Killer.
That's right. Maybe not. So anyway, you know, I mentioned that, you know, the reason I sent that was, you know, your ties to music education and, you know, why did you pick music education? Because I mean, you're a phenomenal player. You could have been playing for a living. A little tough in these times, but
yeah. I mean,
what drew you to it?
I guess I liked sharing music with kids. I didn't really realize how much I liked it until I enjoyed my time student teaching. Right? Like I went to school to become an educator, but to be honest, it was never my intention. Actually, I was going to move to New York and play. So after school, the last bit of school was student teaching, and I enjoyed it. But I thought, okay, well that's great, But I got a degree. I'm going to go to New York now, and I'm going to play. So I did go to New York, but I really didn't like living there, and I couldn't see myself staying there for 30 years.
Right.
I didn't like the city. Not the music part of it. I just didn't. It was too fast for me. It's like not my kind of lifestyle. So I moved back to Detroit and was like, well, I got to do something. And I thought, I enjoyed student teaching. I guess I'll get my teaching certificate. And I mean, that's kind of what happened. I got a teaching job and not really worrying about, okay, am I going to do this for the rest of my life? It's like, I'm going to do this right now.
Yeah.
Right. And here I am 25 years later. Still
We're
teaching.
old, dude. We're old.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Because I get to share music with kids. And specifically this music, because most of my job I'm teaching jazz music. So
Right. Yeah. So then follow-up question that's not in the 10. Why Chicago?
So Chicago, I think because Detroit, that's where I grew up. That's where my wife...
It's the Lions, wasn't it?
It's the Lions, yeah.
Yeah.
The scene there, it's okay, but it's just not as robust as it was here. And so when... long story short, there was a recession like around 2001 in Detroit.
Yep.
It was kind of in the whole country, but it was really especially in Detroit. And so
Yeah.
my wife had gotten laid off and was having a hard time finding full-time work. And so there was a job that was either going to be in Detroit or was going to be in Chicago, and it didn't pan out here in Chicago. But then we were sort of like, well, maybe Chicago would be a good move. And I was all for it because I knew some people. I knew you. I knew Anna. I knew Joey. I knew Going. I knew Tito.
Right.
And I knew Jim Stombries from Birch Creek.
That's right. Okay.
We made the decision like, okay, we're going. Let's start looking for jobs. Whoever gets a job first, we'll put the house up for sale and we'll go. And I called Jim and said, we're moving. I need a job. Help me. And that guy knows everybody.
He does know it. He does. Absolutely.
I mean, no joke. I had a job probably in about 3 weeks.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known Jim since I was a kid. Maybe I probably met him when I was 13 or 14. Because he knew my dad and he knew Chip Staley and so yeah, he would literally come to our concerts and I'd be like, what are you doing here? Because that was back when he was at Naperville North.
Right.
He was still in North.
Right.
So.
Yeah, him and Chip are real close, I know.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I think they vacation together, honestly.
They do, yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's good times walking through an exhibit hall at a convention with Jim. You don't go very far.
You don't go exactly.
Everybody.
You get stopped everywhere. Yeah.
Every 2 feet.
Every 2 feet. Yes. Yeah, that doesn't happen with me.
Man, it's good to have a friend like that.
It does, man, isn't it? It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Because of that, so he got me a job teaching in Carpentersville, but then when his colleague here at the school I'm currently at, he called me, and I've been here since 2004. Yeah, since 2004.
Man, that's crazy.
So, and this is like
holy cow
job I've got here.
Yeah, it's a good gig. So okay, there's no good way to transition into the sillier questions again. So everybody has that Desert Island side, or album. What's yours?
I know, right? That's such a hard question to answer. Like, what's your favorite recording?
Right.
And
you could. There's tons of different ways you can qualify this.
Yeah, I know. If I have to pick one, probably Larry Young's Unity.
Okay.
But I really don't want to just take one.
Right. I mean, you can take 3. It's okay.
Okay,
2,
then
3.
if I do that, okay, so Larry Young's Unity, Transition, Coltrane,
Okay.
and Michael Brecker's first record.
Yeah.
The one on Impulse,
Yes.
Michael Brecker.
Right. That's so killing.
Yeah,
I remember hearing that.
favorite records.
Oh, it's ridiculous because he didn't sound like I came into Brecker like after all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, he can obviously he's amazing. He can really play, but I had never heard that record. And I remember Colby did that as a, drop the needle in one of my lessons. And I was like, who is that? Like, because it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like a really, like, it's just killer. Yeah. Just so good.
Right.
So, I had forgotten that you had named one of your songs Title.
Yeah.
One of your tunes. So, are you going to use All Things Woj as your next album? No.
I don't know what it would be. I don't think I would do All Things Woj. Not for an album title.
Yeah, it's all right, man. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it could work.
Maybe. I don't know.
Should have Matt do name your tunes.
Yeah. That's actually, I have a couple new ones I wrote for the last run we did at the Jazz Showcase before the big giant shutdown. That still don't have names. It was just like new tune 1, new tune 2.
Yeah, 47. Yeah.
I've got a couple new things in the book that'll get recorded.
Okay.
I was actually kind of hoping to do something this fall. We were supposed to do. I had done a project a couple years ago with an old college friend of mine, Xavier Davis, on piano.
Okay.
With Clark and Dana.
Nice.
We were going to play at the Hyde Park Jazz Festival. And then I figured, like, while Xavier's in town, let's try to lay out a record.
Right.
That's not happening because...
No. Because
of COVID. So.
Yes. So here we are.
But, I mean, I guess eventually.
Yeah.
But currently I'm working on a thing. Tom Garling just sent me something this morning. We're doing like a remote, sort of pass the tracks around.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm doing a thing with him, and I think George Flutis will be on it, and Matt Eulery, and I think Rob Clearfield.
Nice.
Who's currently living in Paris. So
yeah, I know this.
Makes it, possible to do those sorts of things now.
Right.
Or you can be. I just saw the other day, Chris Potter is coming out with a new recording this fall that he did everything on while in quarantine. And I thought, well, I feel great about all I've accomplished over the last 6 months.
I should probably wrap this up because I've got kids who are antsy, wives who are coughing. My daughter's 10 feet from me singing, doesn't even realize she's singing.
Well, I don't hear her, so
that's good. I'm sure the recording will.
Picking it up.
So last question is, what's the one thing I should have asked but I didn't?
I don't know. I don't really have an answer to that question, unfortunately.
Okay.
I don't really have anything. I mean, I guess I'm like a lot of folks. I was kind of in between projects. Like, I don't have anything coming out soon. I was in the planning stages of working on some stuff. So until we get back to people getting in the same room again, and I'm not a biohazard with my horn.
Right.
I'm kind of, I don't have anything coming out yet.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Well, then I've done my job.
You have.
Well, thanks, Woj.
Yeah. Thanks, man. It was
Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you.
Catch up with you as well.
Likewise.
Yeah.
stop recording. Stop. There we go. Okay.